All right, everybody. This Extreme Florida Sportsman. It is middle of the hunting season, uh, beginning of November. The weather's still warm, getting ready to change. Literally have a cold snap coming in late this weekend. So I'm just going over all my gear, and I want to show y'all what I carry while I'm hunting, what I would carry while I'm camping, and also what I would theoretically carry if I was completely bugging out or bugging into an area. So we're gonna go through these three different types of loadouts. Well, really, my camping and bugging out or bugging in loadout really wouldn't vary much, but yeah, we're gonna review all my gear of what I like to carry and up including my new bow that I bought. So y'all stay tuned and let's get to it. All right, so first things first, we want to get out the way is the bow. This is a Monarch bow by Fleetwood Archery. It's 62 inches with a 50-pound draw. It is basically like my last bow, a Samick Sage. And these Samick Sage type bows, as I explained before in my other videos, they perform. Y'all know I absolutely destroyed my last bow by accident. We're gonna I'm definitely gonna try my best to keep this bow from being destroyed like my last one. Always gotta triple check the gear. So what I ended up doing is I took everything off my last bow and put it on this bow. I found that none of the stuff was really damaged. I was really excited to find out that my PSE bowstring wasn't damaged, and that was a plus, so I didn't have to replace that. These limbs are full on black besides the tips, which is great because I was going to change the limbs out if I ended up getting a warden, which I didn't. So this will definitely save me $100 or so from getting aftermarket lens, which I'm actually gonna do anyway, but yeah, that'll be a month or two down the line. But anyway, yeah, so it's basically just like the last bow. That's all I can tell you about it. Shoots phenomenally. I'll make a shooting video about it, or just I'll make a shooting video period with it in it, and just to show you how how smooth this bow is, how quiet it is. And it has a 50-pound draw, so this thing shoots really freaking hard. So yeah, this is what I carry, this is what I hunt with, this is what I'll be rocking with during a bug out situation or a bug in situation, because I don't carry firearms. But yeah, this is it. All right, everybody, I want to try to make this portion of the video really fast. This is my gear belt. This is what I wear in the woods 24/7, no matter the occasion. I have this belt on. I'll use it camping, hiking, hunting, bugging out. All right, so really quick, first item that I'm gonna tell you about is a fixed blade knife. Always keep you a fixed blade knife. It's the #1 go-to tool. If you had to pick a tool to survive out in the woods, I would definitely tell you to go for a fixed blade knife. With a fixed blade knife, you can craft other tools in existence. You can use this to create tinder, procure wood. You can even use it to bushcraft a bow and drill set, so you can start fire. Fixed blade knives are absolutely a #1 tool for any woodsman to have, is a good knife. real quick, you want to have a knife that has a 90-degree spine on it. Reason being, because with that, you can use this 90-degree spine with a Ferris rod, and you can get big sparks off of it. As you can see, I've used mine before. Yeah, this is a one tool for a woodsman that is invaluable, and that is a good fixed blade knife. All right, real quick, I want to go over this because it's just one item in the bag, and this is my night vision optics. It's by Stealth Cam. The best thing I can tell you about it is night vision for $100. It is really good to use in the field, especially if you're moving like I do, early in the morning where it's pitch black dark out. You want to be able to see where you're going, if you're about to bump anything or where game's at, and I highly suggest you get you some type of night vision. It really does help. All right, really quick, we can get this out the way. My belt pouch, my gear bag pouch. Yeah, on this, what I like about this item, I can say is that it makes life easier if you want to be stealthy and move around, and you don't have to carry a backpack on you with essential items that you need 24/7. That's what I use this for, and I keep quick deploy items in here that I can quickly grab, and I don't have to dig in my backpack. That's what I use this for. So real quick, we're gonna go over what's in here. I'm gonna be fast. So real quick, I use pepper spray. I keep pepper spray on me for defensive purposes only, just in case you get charged by a bear or a hog or a person or whatever you're running into out there that basically is attacking you. Pepper spray will definitely get animals or people up off of you. After that, I have a linesthetic compass. It's a military style linesthetic compass. I highly suggest, if you're out in the woods, keep you a manual tool that you can use for land navigation. You got to realize that these cell phones and that the GPSs, where'd it go? That the GPSs, they are rely on batteries, and batteries must be recharged. So I highly suggest you have a physical tool that doesn't rely on batteries, and you get trained upon that tool to be able to use it. With these compasses, you have to learn declination, but they're great. I used this in scouts as a kid, and they really do work. Last up front that I keep real quick is a glow stick. The only reason why I keep this glow stick is for emergency purposes only, just for signaling. I mean, and you know, if you happen to lose your flashlight, whether it runs out of batteries or whatever, you can crack this open and you can use it to see various items in your kit. That's what I keep this for. All right. Okay, inside the bag itself. So inside the bag itself, I keep me two optics tools. One is a regular pair of binoculars. Self-explanatory why you want to keep binoculars in the woods. You know, you want to see game, you want to check your terrain. Any of these reasons, binoculars comes in handy. I'm in Florida, so for the most part, I don't need a big pair of binoculars. I don't own any farms like that, and I really don't hunt on farmland. I hunt out in the woods, and Florida's a jungle, and for the most part, the woods, you're not going to see, you know, too much past 200-300 yards, you know, unless you're like in a very wide open sage palm field. Other than that, you're not really going to see, you know what I'm saying, much you're not going to see really too far of a distance. So having a big pair of binoculars isn't too much of a thing for me. Anyway, after that, I have my My rangefinder, it's by Halo. It's the XL450. I'm into archery, so knowing distances on targets really helps me out in the field, and that's definitely what this does. The thing's awesome. It even tells me the angle degree that I'm looking at. You know, if I wanted to add that to any of my calculations on how I'm shooting. Okay, I'm gonna keep on going. All right, real fast. So procuring fire is my thing. I like to be able to have a fire if it's an emergency purposes, or I'm camping and hiking or doing whatever. So I keep on me at all times fire starting devices, whether it's a Ferris rod or whether it's a Bic lighter wrapped with duct tape for tinder, or I keep on me for more tinder. These are cotton balls that have Vaseline on them, and they go up really fast. So, this is why I say, you know what I'm saying, to keep you a 90-degree spine on your knife, so you'll be able to get sparks off of your Ferris rod. Okay, so moving on from there. Next two items I have is I have me a multi-tool. So multi-tools are awesome in the field because you can use it for field dressing. You can use it for carving, woodworking. It has a file on here. You can definitely sharpen your other tools with it. It has pliers on it that you can use for grabbing any items that you need to grab, or it can help you with field dressing. You've seen me use this thing plenty of times while kayak fishing to get lures and hooks out of fish's mouth. So yeah, having a multi-tool on you, absolutely awesome. All right, next I keep on me is a good whetstone, a good sharpening stone. Self-explanatory. I use various cutting items and I want to keep them sharp, and this will definitely help me do it. All right, I'm gonna move on from here real fast. I keep me a backup flashlight, as you can see. Self-explanatory. I want to have a backup flashlight just in case my other flashlights go dead. And then right here, because I use various optic systems, it's good to keep you a nice cleaning rag for lenses that you don't want to get any sand or dirt on, that you don't scratch into your lenses with. All right, moving on from there real quick. This right here is my little blowout kit. On it I keep me a good length of paracord just in case I need to tie anything up. I can also use this paracord if I need to make me an improvised tourniquet. I can use the paracord to tie off the stick that I'm twisting for my tourniquet. I'm not going to use the paracord as a tourniquet. The paracord is just a tie off, but it is good to keep your paracord on you at all times in case you need to build shelters or whatever you need. You know what I'm saying? Paracord for it is there. All right, pull the paracord off real quick. Okay, so under that, first thing I got is clotting agent, bleed stop. You have any penetrating wounds, this is good for it. You slap some of the stuff in there, clot your blood up. And then you can apply any other field dressing on top of that, so you can get yourself somewhere you need to get medical attention. So in here I keep me gauze, I keep me gauze pads, I keep me medical tape, and then also in the back for I just been caught out in the middle of the field while scouting without my backpack, I have me a little emergency rain poncho. this is what the Go Highmall pack can do. This is about the full range of stuff that I would carry fully loaded on my pack. The only thing that I didn't stick on here is the axe, but this can easily be put on. Okay, so in replace of the bow, which can be carried by hand, I replaced it with the hatchet. Now, what I can say about the hatchet and with my machete, these both can be carried on my my gear belt. So, just want to show you that this is where you can put your hatchet at if you needed to, and it just replaces where you can put your bow at. So first things first, on the pack that we're going to take off is the ground blanket. Now, self-explanatory on why I have this. If you need to set up an emergency shelter and you don't feel like fully putting up the one-person hammock, you can simply craft this deployable ground blanket that would spread out completely over the ground. Like so, and you have, it spreads out completely more, and you have available space to lay and sleep on. Now, my sleep system. I have two sleep systems in this loadout right now. My main sleep system that I have is my one-person hammock by Equip. This hammock has a built-in bug net, and I also added to it a rain tarp that I stole from a one-person camping tent that I can set up over the hammock to keep the rain off me. Now, theoretically, sitting here thinking about it, theoretically, I have 3 different shelter systems, or 3 different ways to set up shelter systems now that I sit here and look at this, because I can use the entire hammock system, right, to camp with, or I can ground camp using the rainfly as a tarp, or I'll show you in a second that I have a very nice military style rain poncho that I can set up for a tarp camping system setup. And this rain poncho that I have is actually in I think real tree camo, but yeah, it definitely has the oak pattern all over it. This is the poncho that I was talking about. I don't want to bust it fully out. It's by, I'll butcher that if I say that, a Cosmetech. I got this thing off of Amazon. It is awesome. Yeah, I can make shelters out of this. I can completely cover my gear with this. Yeah, this is my third item that I have for option of making a shelter. It has rivets in it that I can use with the paracord to put up the shelter on. It's good and sturdy. I can feel the material on it. It's definitely something that'll keep you nice and dry. And I 100% suggest anybody that's out in the field, like I am most of the year, to keep one of these on you at all times, because you just never know. You never know what can happen to you. You never know if you're about to get rained on. You never know if you get stuck out in the field and you need an emergency shelter system. Have you a good military style rain poncho and get you some knowledge on how to set up some emergency shelters, and I guarantee you this will help. Okay, so next two items that we have on the pack, we have our quick deployable shovel, military style shovel. This one I actually got from the Army Navy store. Very authentic. Self-explanatory. You know, you can use this to help you build your shelter with. You can use this to cut down various branches. You can use it to cook on if you need to. Dig latrines, dig trenches, dig whatever you want. That I have my axe, or hatchet I would say. This hatchet I carry with me normally when I go on public land or I'm out camping, because again, I don't keep firearms with me, and I like to keep something on me that I can use to defend myself or help dispatch game, like if I come across a squirrel or a hog or anything that I've shot that doesn't fully dispatch. I can give it a whomp over the head with the hammer side, put it all the way away. Or again, this is a hatchet and I can use it to procure wood and fire tender. Also, what I like about this hatchet is it has multi-tool functions, which I'm completely into. This hatchet has a blade on it on the inside that you can use, you know, for carving and wood crafting, everything you need. Also, it has a functioning saw, which you can see there's still wood pieces in it because I've used it quite often, and it completely works. You know, this replaces me having to carry a foldable handsaw, which I do have actually, but I don't keep it in my backpack right now because I carry the hatchet with me. It's like, what's the point? Also inside this thing, it has compass on it. If I'm not mistaken, it should have a flint striker on it. This is for breaking glass. Has a flint striker on it. I just gotta figure out where the flint and steel is at. I think it's right here actually. There it is. Fresh. I haven't used it, but yeah, flint and steel on it. It is 1000% sturdy. Yeah, this thing, I think I've done a video on it before, but it's another tool worth its weight in gold. Alright, so moving on. First, I'd like to say that this is a high mall pack. It's the 60L with the hunting print. This pack has all the room in the world to put everything you want on it. It has a gang of pockets on it, even though I know some people are like, oh, I don't need a gang of pockets if I have a really big pack. Well, that's cool, but you know, I like to have pockets on it so I can separate my gear, particularly where I like to place it. And this pack is awesome for that. You can store gangs of equipment on it, as you can see.
and we're gonna keep on going on what else I have on it. Up next is my water system, on how I can procure water and store water on this pack. So I am, like I said before, a big fan of military gear and military items. This one I lucked out to find. I was very, very happy when I found it, and I'm gonna show it to you. So this item I actually really put together myself, my canteen, from items that I've gotten from Facebook Marketplace and the Tampa Army Navy store. As you can see, has a carrying pouch, military issue carrying pouch to be exact. And then inside of it has military government issue canteen, the actual canteen stove itself. Hold on, it's fighting me right now because it's been in there for a while. This is the canteen stove. This is my vintage Vietnam issued canteen cup. This thing I completely love for the 100% nostalgia fact. And as you can see, yes, it is military issued, Vietnam era, 1963. You can see down there, canteen cup. So with this and this, you can, in fact, I'll put it together real quick for you. You can procure water, right? Then you set these two together, and with this, you burn fire under here to boil the water for sanitation. Now, I have a couple ways that I can do this. One is I can use these fire cubes. These things will hold a fire for probably about 10 to 15 minutes each, and they're hot enough that I can boil water out of this with. Now, if that's not enough to boil water, I'll show you what else I have in the pack that I can use to boil water with. This government issue water canteen, self-explanatory. I also keep me a thermal, whether to keep soup hot or water cold or water hot. Keep me a good Stanley thermal. So what I got next for water filtration and sanitation is good old trusty dusty Life Straw. You can get gallons and gallons of use out of the Life Straw. They're relatively cheap. You can find them all over the place, whether that's Walmart, any of your outdoor supply stores, Dick's Sporting Goods, stuff like that. They have Life Straws, and with that you can literally drink straight from a water source, or you can filter water through this. Alright, so continuing on with my kitchen items and my cooking items and my sanitizing water items. So what I got up next, so I might as well bust out the actual stove itself. It's a can of isobutane. You can get this at Walmart, Tractor Supply, if I'm not mistaken, Rural King, things like that. So what I have here is my Ozark Trail. This is the actual stove itself. The burner comes with an adapter. The adapter is for the bigger cans. You can simply hook the burner directly up to the little cans, which we will do. It's a tripod stand that goes on the bottom of the cans. Hook this up real quick, show y'all what I'm talking about. Literally hooks up just like that. That easy. Pop the cap off. Take the burner. Screw the burner down. Relatively simple. Turn so you have it sealed. Doesn't need to be so tight that you break it. Flip the legs out. Make it some type of symmetrical. And boom. You have yourself a little stove that you can use right here to cook on. Turn it on. Got yourself a cooker that you can cook food. You can set your canteen cup on like so, and you'll distill your water, sanitize your water with. Just that simple. Make sure that's off. Boom. And it's relatively light. I want to say, less than a pound, the whole setup. And it's how do you say, it's worth its weight, especially if you're out in the field and you want to cook something real quick, especially if you're stealth camping and anything else like that. Here in Florida, you can't really light fires in the state parks like that. So if you're out there all day and you pack a meal in your backpack that you want to cook, like I do, you can't light a fire to cook it. So having one of these will give you options on you having a hot meal. So yeah, definitely something I highly suggest you keep in your backpack. I keep this, in my backpack, whether if I'm hunting, camping, or if I'm gonna bug out. Alright, so what I have next is my regular mess tin. Like I said before, I came from scouts as a kid, and this is what we trained on to eat with. And it comes with a simple plate. You got your skillet. Mine's well used, as you can see. You also have your little stove pot, and then comes with a cup. And I keep my my Kershaw spoon or spork in there at all times. So yeah, this is relatively light, easy to cook on. You have plenty of options of meals you can cook. You can fry something up. You can stew something up. You can use this to boil water. There's many options having a mess kit. And these are relatively cheap. I think, if I'm not mistaken, they're all under, in between $20 to $25. You can find these at Walmart. You can find them, at any camping stores. Anywhere that really sells camping supplies, they have mess kits like this. So yeah. Okay, next item that I keep on the pack. This is for hunting, and you can also use it at camp, is my tripod stool. I know you've seen this thing multiple times before. It's relatively light. I use it for ground hunting and also for sitting in camp. It's easily deployable. It's a stool. I mean, I don't know what else you want me to tell you about it. It's a stool. Yeah, I picked this up, I think, for anywhere between $15 to $25 at the Army Navy store. Alright, so what else do I keep in this pack? Everybody's wondering. Again, what I've been having in this pack is completely loaded out right now if I was going to bug out. I'll show you the items that I keep in this pack in a second for hunting. But right now, this is completely bugging out and camping. So next up in here is my pillow. If I'm not mistaken, this one's by Ren. Not only is the pillow, but it unzips and you can pull it out to a full-fledged blanket. Absolutely awesome, especially if you're out here camping and you want to rest your head on something. You know, you can use this to rest your head on, or you can trade this out for a blanket. Alright, so we're going to start from little pocket, big pocket, to bigger pocket. So first I keep in my little pocket is my headlamp and my SD card reader for my game trail cams. Only other thing I keep in here is a backup SD card. Now, this pocket, in this little pouch, I keep me these oh man, they're for the thermal cell, the mosquito repellent, little mosquito repellent mats for the thermal cell, which is right here. Yeah, I just keep them in this little pouch. Self-explanatory. Keep me a backup spoon. So this pouch separates into 2 or 3 walls. It has a mid seam, right? And in the mid seam, I keep some paracord, my clippers that I use for various shrubs that I want to cut out the way, little sticks and branches that when I want to make my shooting lanes when I'm hunting. But this is good for it. Other than that, got me some snacks in here, and then for emergency time, if need be, I keep me the MRE packed away, ready to go. This one is vegetable lasagna. If I'm not mistaken, it has breakfast in here. Yeah, I got this from the Army Navy store. They have plenty of them. If you need an emergency meal, there you go. Also keep snacks on me. I'm actually really big on my snacks, and I like the chewy bars for some reason. All right. Next up, I keep emergency mosquito repellent. This one's by Repel. It's really good. Anchor power charger to charge up my phones and other various items that I have on me. This is really good to have. This one, if I'm not mistaken, the 335 power bank, if I'm not mistaken. It's the real souped up one. I don't think it's waterproof too much, which I really gotta watch out for. But this can charge your phone multiple times. I've charged my phone plenty of times off of this, and it still had plenty of juice to go. So I'm relatively positive that you can keep this out in the field and probably charge your phone off of it maybe maybe 5 times. But yeah, I've only charged this thing up once, and I've used this thing multiple times throughout the months this year, and it still has almost a full battery on it. So this one's by Anchor, and I highly suggest it. Let's see. Now I keep me a notepad, and I keep me a little pencil to take notes, to do calculations, for land navigation, and little memos that I need to jot down or need, or just, it's good to have a notepad on you and something to write with for just in case purposes. Alright, so in this pack I keep me various arrow points, broadheads, field points, and small game points I keep in this little pack. I also keep on me extra propane for my thermal cell. Okay, now other items that I suggest that can be added to your kit that is really lightweight items would be your fishing kit. Now, I've done a video on a small fishing kit, and this thing is worth its weight in gold. You can make yourself a hobo reel with some braided line. This is 30 pounds, and this right here is probably a quarter pound, and it goes right into your pack. Takes up very little space. It is literally a pocket fishing kit. If you can really stick this in your pocket. And this is just something else I highly suggest you think about carrying if you're either bugging out or through hiking or camping, just to have you an option to be able to fish with. So I also wanted to show you guys my other saw. This is my my Camella saw. If I'm not mistaken, I think this is it should be a 7-inch blade, and this thing is absolutely phenomenal. Takes down any branches that you need to. Like I said, I don't really need to carry this in my pack because I keep my hatchet on me, but it is something that I do have, and I do suggest that if you're out in the woods for a pretty long time, is to keep you a pretty good pocket saw, and this one is phenomenal. So the last 2 items I want to show you in this loadout is I keep on me my wind detector. I use this for hunting, lets you know which way is the wind blowing, so you don't get blowed out of an area, because you always like to hunt the wind while you're hunting. And last but not least is my med kit. My med kit, this one is literally a bigger version of the blowout kit I keep on my waist. The only other thing that's different in here is I keep a couple more various items like bobby pins, tweezers, ibuprofen, more gauze, actual antibiotic ointments, but yeah, only thing that I can say that's missing in here that I am gonna get in the next week or so is actual medical grade tourniquet. Yeah, that's about it. I mean, I have the various skills to make me a tourniquet on field, but it's just good to have a reliable medical grade tourniquet on hand, and that's the only thing that I'm missing from this med kit. Alright, so this is the entire loadout that I would have minus food. besides that I have the MRE back there, that I would carry if I was bugging out. The only other item that I didn't show you that I can show you that I have, or really two items that I have. Yeah, the only other two items that I didn't show you that I have that I potentially would keep on me is my machete. This one's by Bare Bones. It's freaking awesome, ridiculously sharp. I have to clean it up a little bit more. Yeah, it's good for chopping down material, cutting through foliage, stuff like that. And my walking stick is the only other items that I didn't show you. This one has a compass in it. It's a multi-tool, just like a hatchet is, and it has a spear in here that you can use for small game and stuff like that. It's pretty cool. Anyway, all right, so I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna take some of these items off the blanket, and the remaining items I'll show you. That's on the blanket. These are the items that I'll be using for hunting and hunting purposes only. Okay, so relatively nothing much has changed drastically, except I took out the sleeping system, right? The hammock and the pillow and blanket by Ren, and replaced it with the Vanish blind. Only other items that's missing is the military shovel and the machete, which I don't really need those while I'm hunting. Yeah, it just adds more weight to what I got going on. And that's about it. The only item that is here that I may or may not carry, depending on the situation, is my mess kit. Now, if I'm hunting all day and I am out scouting, I'm on a WMA, and I don't really want to hike back to the truck, and I know this for certain, that's when I'll bring my mess kit and some food with me, and I'll use that to cook soups or whatever, or any other type of meal that I have out in the field. Other than that, yeah, that's the only thing that I would really, I may or may not carry. And also to the blind, because if I go in and I set up the blind out on the WMA, well, it's set up. I'm not going to carry it in my backpack 24/7. So, but everything else that's here is something that I relatively carry all the time when I'm out hunting. And believe it or not, it is actually very light, because the only things that go on my backpack, well, the only thing that doesn't go on my backpack, I might as well say, because that's a lot easier, is my gear belt, and that's it. Everything, all the rest of this stuff, believe it or not, is relatively maybe 25 pounds, if that. And the heaviest parts of it, believe it or not, is actually just my water. The heaviest part of all of this entire situation, chair, all everything together, is literally the water. I think the water add together, the weight of the water would actually equal the majority of this. So yeah. So yeah, this is what I use, this is what I carry on me, whether if I'm gonna be hunting, hiking, or bugging out.